Dan, crazy main event, right? We kind of had an idea of how this fight would play out, and it played out exactly what most people thought, that somebody would get slept, and it was Johnny Walker that got slept, man. Like, it was a beautiful right hand. I just wanted to get your views on how that right hand kind of came to fruition.
Uh, Nah, it's just the way like Johnny Walker bridges in. Like he's just a bit wild with how he bridges in, and that can go one or two ways. You can either run head first into something and end up second best, or get a kind of a highlight real knockout yourself. But disgusting sport. Just how about the knockout? Like that's absolutely that knockout is MMA. Like now Johnny Walker is a meme. He's been like instantly immortalized in our sport as like a meme. Without a doubt. He's about to get the graphics and the whole 9 yards of that knockout. But nah, it's incredible to see a finish like that, to see a guy go from like ranked number 12 to now be talking. Now, like people are already on the internet talking about title contention and fighting this guy and setting himself up for a title shot. And it's just what like a knockout like that can do in our sport. It can just completely change your stance.
It can. And, I thought Johnny Walker was doing a good job until he got knocked out. He was, being patient.
That's what everyone says.
No, but, you can
That's
look
like
back from the start. You
that's
know what
the
I mean?
best call I've ever had. No, he was looking great till he just got meme knockout 3000. Like he's yeah,
Yeah, but
that's our sport. That's our sport. He was.
uh, I just thought, what I mean, like, he was looking good when he came out. He was mixing in the flashy stuff and being patient at the same time. Looking for the counters, and he hit him a couple times. He hit Hall a couple times. I thought he was doing good, but then like he kind of started to get stagnant in a way. Like he started to sit there a little bit, and I think that's what Hill picked up on, and that's when the right hand just connected, man, because he got hit on the top of the head. He didn't even get hit in the jaw. If you look at
Mm.
it, he got hit on the top of the head, man. It's hard to knock somebody out when you hit them on the top of the head in the forehead, isn't it? It's harder than the jaw. Because I heard that this part of your face is where you want to aim for, and this is where you could get the easiest knockouts. It's like the nose to the jawline right here around that area. Is that true, or am I just an idiot?
Yeah, obviously your chin, like you get it's like what it actually is like your head jarring like quickly, and
Mhm.
then your body's like natural defense mechanism to that is to just shut off. Like you go Windows 95 and you just shut down straight away. But that can happen at the top of the head. Like those gloves are just ridiculous. Like they are ridiculous. Like to fight people with. If I was to get in a street fight outside right now, I would prefer to have my UFC gloves on because
Mhm.
until you put a pair of those on and you get touch with them and you're just like, whoa, like this is they've been designed specifically for knockouts. So it's like there are general places like the people getting hit in the chin is always like lights off, but man, just the way he bridged in like that and crashed, um, just a crazy way to go down. Just a crazy way to go down. Uh, when Johnny Walker first came into the UFC, I could see that like, and he was getting those flashy knockouts and spinning this and flying this and jumping that. Like he was always going to have a hard road long term. Like when a guy comes in and they have like a couple wins, but you can see they've got strong fundamentals and they can break a guy down and pick a guy apart. You know, that to me is a lot more like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be around for a long time. But kind of when Johnny Walker came in, he's like exclusively fighting with special moves, which are like low. He just spams like special moves like originally. So now that he's with Kavanagh and Straight Blast Gym and that, and they've um, slowed him down. There's almost like flaws in that plan of slowing him down. Like you slow him down, he's not that same kind of creative, athletic, explosive guy that he's always been.
Yeah, you're right. If you really do look back at his start in the UFC, it was like a spinning back fist knockout, flying knee knockout. You know what I mean? Stuff that normal people don't throw. Like some guys, I think they go through their whole career without even throwing a flying knee. You know, how many flying knees have you thrown in a fight, Dan?
I think I'm yet to spin. I think it's never made sense to me. My dad actually gave me stick for like he's like well, you just he said it back in the day. He was like, you know what, you need to throw more spinning stuff. And I was like, Dad, you never took me to Taekwondo. You're gonna give me stick about not spinning. I was like, you took me to rugby league. You face that way, you tackle the guy standing in front of you. You know, you didn't take me to Taekwondo. So it never made much sense to me. The guy's there, he's standing opposite me, and why am I gonna spin around in circles to punch him in the face? I'll just punch him in the face the regular old fashioned way. I'll just stick to that. But no, like
Your
some guys come from the background and they're very good at it.
your dad's a big fan of like Wonder Boy Thompson, those types of fighters. They're just spinning all day.
Nah, he's more just like a big fan of giving me shit, which is like
That's what dads are for, though. You know what I mean? Like
that's
dads are
what
supposed
they're
to give you
for.
shit.
That's what they're for. That's literally their that's 99% of their job. Uh, is that is that just give them shit and harden them up?
All right, let's get to some of these questions, man. You guys got questions? Put them in the comments section, and we'll get to these. Let's get to the average AF podcast. Shout out to this guy or girl. How far can Hill go in the light heavyweight division? I think he's a real contender after one more win. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, for sure. Like after a knockout like that, he's definitely skyrocketed himself. That's a main event spot. Um, you could definitely see him in a co-main on a pay-per-view, if not main eventing another fight night for sure. That's a couple really big wins in a row, beating Johnny Walker, and then before that Jimmy Crute, who's another world-class light heavyweight. So yeah, man, sky's the limit for Hill.
Yeah, and he also has a knockout over OSP and a decision over our Darko Stasis, which I thought that was a big win for him in his debut. Yeah, he's only had 11 fights so far in his career, man. He's like one of those guys that have just come in and really adjusted himself well to the UFC. And yeah, if you look at the top, let's go look at the rankings. You know what I mean? The rankings. Let's look at the rank. Where is the fucking rankings? Right here. If you look at the light heavyweight division, man, he's sitting at 12 right now. He just beat Johnny Walker, who's sitting at 10. So I could see him bumping into the top 10, probably 9. Um, there's some veterans, man, that he could fight. Like there's Thiago Santos sitting there at number 5,
Mm.
who's not doing too well in the last couple. You know what I mean? Or Volkan Ozdemir. You know what I mean? Volkan Ozdemir would be. I think both those guys would be good tests. What do you think? Do you think that would be something that maybe he could get another headliner? You know what I mean? Because they kind of rushed these dudes into the headliner. They weren't like the original headliner for this show.
Well, it was RDA Fatigue, right? And then
Yeah.
he had Fatigue had visa trouble, so these boys got pushed into the main event and then made the most of the opportunity. But light heavyweight is such a crazy division. Like your stars can change so quickly in that division just because they're like massive guys that are still incredibly athletic. So they're kind of like heavyweights, whereas like it's kind of comes down to like first one to land. So it's like very hard. Yeah, it's like very hard to protect a winning streak inside the light heavyweight division, and it's also a very thin division. Like I'm just going off memory, but I'd have to say it would be one of the divisions with like far fewer guys. Like last time I checked, it's like lightweight's like 150, welterweight's about the same, like 100 is something, like featherweight's 60, 70, and then light heavyweight's only like 30 guys in the division. So it's not as deep as the other divisions just because it's so, um, I would say just because it's so dangerous to be there. Like the size of the guys is, and the knockout power and the athleticism they carry just makes it so dangerous.
What about Hill versus Reyes? I think that's not a bad fight either. You know what I mean? Reyes, he's sitting at number 7. He's coming off a couple of losses, some bad knockout losses. Hill would be a good test for him, right, to get back on that horse.
Yeah, for sure. Like Reyes, yeah, who was his last fight to? But
Yuri Prohaska.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. That was a good back and forth fight, and Yuri's so awkward, and managed to catch him. But yeah, that'll be an incredible fight. Reyes has definitely proven himself, that he can compete and beat just that the world championship caliber of fighter.
I think, like, when Paul Felder, after he gave him all those compliments in that post-fight, interview in the cage, he gave him, like, we're talking about you're a top 10, top 5, maybe being, challenging for the title eventually. And then he just says he'll just do whatever the UFC wants to do. I thought he should have called out somebody. I thought he should have called out Reyes. I feel like he should have had something ready for his next fight. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that sometimes it's a missed opportunity. You just need to throw something out there so the headlines can catch on, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you really want to fight him, you just throw something out there, right? Something will stick, don't you think?
Mm, like hit and miss. I feel like if you're taking a step back and you're like thinking about your career, like he's still a very young fighter.
Mhm.
He's not. This is his first time he's been in the main event and things like that. Um, maybe you need to ask yourself if he thinks like that and he thinks, okay, after I win, I'm gonna call this guy out, blah blah blah. That mentality of having already anticipated success might lead him down the wrong path, like mentally. Maybe
Mhm.
that's not where he needs to be mentally, to get the job done and to get in there and fight. Like maybe he needs to get himself up and get himself excited to get out there and go. So maybe he doesn't want to process uh, that kind of aspect of the sport because
Mhm.
it'll take away from, his mental state leading into it. So there's always two sides to the coin. It's easy to say like, oh, just think about a name and chuck it out there. Like he had no idea he was going to go out there and knock Johnny Walker out like that and become like I guarantee you that video is going to be like a viral sensation over the next week, So he didn't plan it. He didn't plan it. He didn't expect it. But as time goes on and he gets more main events and he gets more big knockouts, you'll definitely see him start to plan those things and kind of steer and direct his career, a little more hands on for sure. But on the same hand as well, like he is young. Maybe he doesn't want to rush himself towards a title shot, and be in that kind of position. Maybe he does want to just take it slowly and fight the number 9 and then the number 7 and then like have 4 or 5 more fights before he gets in that title shot position, as opposed to just calling for it now and only having 1 or 2 fights before he's thrown into the deep end. So yeah, there's always different perspectives on a situation like that.
For sure. And on the flip side, Johnny Walker, what I mean, what does he do? Where does he go from here? Somebody's saying, should Walker go to heavyweight? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if he should go to heavyweight. Is he I met Johnny Walker before. When Johnny Walker first came into the UFC, he was knocking people out. I was in Phuket and Johnny Walker was in Phuket.
Mm.
And I think he was training out of AK Thailand or one of these other gyms that
We
that
started
they
his own gym, didn't he? He invested
yeah,
in the gym, and
he
because it
did.
was
That
like
was the gym. That's the Muay Thai gym.
I remember like Johnny Walker Academy started on
Yeah,
Phuket
they
Road
had
or
a they
something.
had
I was
a
like,
like
my
a
guy,
statue of him like in the front of the
yo,
gym when you come in. I was like, that's dope, dude. Like you're like
that's
an
sick.
idol right there, right? But I met him and what is it? It was during like first time I saw him was during Songkran. Songkran, you remember the water festival? Have you been there during Songkran?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
oh, have
crazy,
I
right?
ever? Have I ever? That's the
Yeah.
best.
But yeah, we were in front of Tiger, because that road is like pretty much shut down and everybody's all over the place. And I
Yeah,
was in front of Tiger, and you know how the Tiger has the speakers, and the owner of Tiger's out there emceeing and shit, and like
he's
Johnny Walker's up
pouring.
there, like there's some dude just like grinding on everybody on stage. I'm just like, and he's big as fuck, and I was just like, who is that? I was like, that dude looks familiar, and I get closer, and I was like, oh shit, it's Johnny Walker, dude. That he was like performing like a damn stripper up there, during song crowd. It was just the funniest
Well,
thing
you
to
can
see, but
dance. You can see it on his
yeah.
walkouts. You can. My man's got
He
some
got
moves.
moves. He got moves, right? And yeah, but he's pretty big. Like I've seen other light heavyweights, and he's really tall and pretty solid. And it's not like he's like flabby or anything like that. He's a solid, strong, muscular dude. I don't know if he would go up to heavyweight. You know what I mean? That's another level, right? But what do you think is the next move for him? Because he's lost his last 4 out of 5, man. That's not a good position to be in.
It's hard to pick. Like he's only been at like with Kavanagh and Straight Blast Gym for like pretty recently, the last couple of years. So it takes time to work with a new team and get to know new coaches and new systems and adjust. And like we don't know how much success he's having in the gym and how many improvements he's making in the gym. He might be developing as a fighter and really getting better and really developing his skills, but the results are not reflecting that improvement and that hard work in the gym. So it's very difficult to sit on the outside and make a call for a guy's career like, oh, he should just do this. It's kind of like just throwing it into the wind without having much knowledge of the situation. Like that's the funniest thing is I've made some of my like best improvements in the gym and then had some of my worst performances. Like that's just the difficult position of being a fighter. But you have to ask yourself as a fighter, do you want to um, have the skill and not get the results, or get the results and not have the skill? It's like it's a difficult position. But I'm sure, like when people see Johnny Walker, they'll tune in for his fights. Like the highlights he's put on already, I feel like he will always have a long standing position inside of the UFC just because he draws people's eyes um, so consistently. Johnny Walker, I feel like will always be a big draw. So I feel like it's definitely going to get a few more opportunities, and I look forward to seeing him back in the cage.
Yeah, he's only 29. You know what I mean? Like he's still developing. I like Johnny Walker. I like his attitude. You know what I mean? Like you just said, he draws eyes. You know what I mean? People do want to see him fight, and there's a lot of matchups in that top 15, outside the top 15 that they could put him against. I see him probably facing somebody that's not in the top 15 next and staying at light heavyweight. You know, making the move to heavyweight. We see with John Jones. You know what I mean? He's been out for like 2 years now trying to make a transition to heavyweight. You know, if you want to do it properly, it's a process, right? And like you said, he's making improvements. We don't know what kind of improvements right now. He hasn't really shown it in the cage, but we never know.
Mm.
We could see it in his next fight. But we just got to give him a chance. You know what I mean? 29 years old. He's not that old. You know what I mean? You got to,
Yeah,
like I
and
always say, don't give up.
like heavyweight, light heavyweight to heavyweight is just an enormous jump. It's not like, well, there's like 205 pounds, and then the cap on the next one, which most guys get in, is like just under the cap is 265. That's a 60-pound weight difference. Like that's not lightweight to featherweight. That's 10 pounds. 45 to 55 is 10 pounds, not 60 pounds. Like that's not there's a change in weight class, but light heavyweight to heavyweight is a whole different story. I don't feel like I don't feel like he's at that stage of his career where he needs to make a do something crazy like that.
Thank you guys for watching the video to the end. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. We got a lot of things in the works, so please stay tuned.